Okay, what if I told you that one of the oldest foods on the planet is now at the heart of a massive medical breakthrough? Seriously, we're talking about a food that can manage blood sugar just as well as a leading pharmaceutical drug. Today, we are going to unpack the incredible science behind how bamboo is transforming from a simple vegetable into a clinical powerhouse. You know the story we've all been told for years, right? The advice was always so simple. Just eat more fiber. It didn't really matter where you got it, oats, beans, apples, whatever. The thinking was that fiber just worked mechanically, physically slowing things down in your gut. And for a long time, that model seemed to explain things pretty well. Until, well, it didn't. And this right here is the critical shift. This is the light bulb moment. We're moving away from this old idea that fiber is just some generic physical stuff. The new discovery, the big deal, is that certain plants contain these unique bioactive compounds. So we're not just talking about fiber anymore. We're talking about phytochemicals that actively talk to our bodies on a cellular level. They act a lot more like medicine than just roughage. So that brings us right to our first big topic, the great fiber myth. We're going to break down exactly why that old model just wasn't cutting it anymore and what this exciting new science has to say. See, here's what happened. While scientists were studying all these different high-fiber foods, they kept noticing this one outlier, one food that just consistently blew everything else out of the water. We're talking oats, beans, even super potent stuff like psyllium husk. It wasn't just slowing down sugar absorption. It was doing something much more profound. It was fundamentally changing how the body responded to sugar in the first place. And that outlier, you've probably guessed it by now, was bamboo shoots. So in this section, we're going to explore how this really humble vegetable became the key that unlocked a whole new way of thinking about blood sugar control. The obvious question then is, what is it about bamboo that makes it so incredibly special? While the research points to 4 very distinct, very powerful mechanisms. Let's just call them its 4 superpowers because they work together in a way that is truly fascinating. All right, let's get into the science. This is where we break down the 4 pillars that explain precisely how bamboo manages to have such incredible control over our blood sugar. It's really a 4-step journey. First, it creates a powerful barrier in the gut. Then it sends out a crucial signal. That signal then triggers a response all throughout the body, and all of that leads to some seriously powerful long-term results. Let's dig into each step. Pillar number 1, the phytochemicals. You can think of these as enzyme blockers. Bamboo is absolutely loaded with these potent plant compounds, things like phenolic acids and flavonoids. And what they do is they literally get in the way of the enzymes that chop up starches into sugar. They're essentially slowing down the entire sugar-releasing factory in your gut. And get this, their effect is so strong, it's actually comparable to a prescription drug called acarbose from a plant. Okay, next up is the physical part of the equation. The soluble fibers in bamboo mix with water in your stomach and create this incredibly thick, viscous gel. It's basically a gel-like traffic jam. It physically blocks and slows down the movement of sugar from your meal into your bloodstream. And listen, this isn't some small effect. The gel that bamboo fiber creates is 2 to 3 times more viscous than the fiber you get from oats. And oats are famous for being good for you. That is a massive difference in sheer physical blocking power. But wait. The fiber story isn't over. Further down in your gut, your good bacteria have a feast on these bamboo fibers. This fermentation process creates these amazing things called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. Now think of these SCFAs as a critical gut signal. It's like they're sending a text message to your body saying, hey, release GLP-1. And GLP-1 is a super important hormone for keeping blood sugar in check. And bamboo's power doesn't just stay in the gut. Oh no. Its compounds actually get absorbed into your bloodstream and travel to your liver and muscles. And once they're there, they flip a critical metabolic switch called AMPK. Think of it as your body's main energy sensor. Turning this switch on tells your cells to stop making new sugar and instead start pulling the existing sugar out of your blood to use as fuel. It directly makes your whole body more sensitive to insulin. So the science is really impressive, right? The mechanisms make sense. But does it actually work in real people? Well, let's look at the clinical proof, because this is where the theory becomes a real-world, game-changing result. I mean, this chart really says it all. You don't have to be a scientist to see this. In the clinical trials, when people ate a meal that should spike their blood sugar, it did. You see that big bar. But when they ate that exact same meal, but with bamboo shoots added,
Look at that. The spike was just dramatically flattened. And the numbers are just so striking. We're talking about a 25 to 35% reduction in that dangerous post-meal glucose spike. That's a huge, immediate benefit you can get simply by adding one food to your plate.
But what about long-term control? This is the number that really made the entire scientific community sit up and pay attention. Over a 12-week period, people in the trials saw their HbA1c, that's the gold standard for measuring long-term blood sugar, drop by as much as 1.1%.
Now, to put that 1.1% into perspective for you, that is an effect that is comparable to metformin. Metformin, that's one of the most common first-line drugs prescribed for type 2 diabetes. So what this means is that a simple food could have an impact so profound that it might delay or even prevent the need for medication for some people. That is a massive, massive deal. All of this discovery really positions bamboo as something so much more than just a food. We are really looking at an ancient food that's providing a very, very modern solution. This is heralding a whole new era of food as medicine. You can almost see its journey right here. Bamboo started as an ancient food source, became a traditional vegetable we see in all sorts of cuisines, and now it's stepping into the future as a clinically proven therapeutic tool for our metabolic health. And the implications here are just huge. I mean, they go way beyond our individual health. We're talking about a functional food that can help prevent diabetes, a sustainable, low-cost tool for public health, a crop that's great for the planet because it pulls down tons of carbon. This really is the new frontier of food as medicine. I think the biggest takeaway here is this. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective, most amazing solutions, they're not created in some high-tech lab. They've been here the whole time, just hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to understand them. So it really leaves us with this one final, really exciting question. If bamboo was holding a secret this powerful, what other incredible solutions are just sitting there, right on our dinner plates, waiting to be discovered?